Yo, what's up, everybody? We got a really big series here in Group C between the 1-1 Scorch and 1-1 5 Big Booms. Both teams have been around the league for quite a while, so you're going to see a lot of familiar names in here. But I did kind of just rush home for this one, so we are getting kind of a quick start. I know Nexus posted another series that he's covering, but we have 7 series total today, so lots of League of Legends if you follow the Midwest scene. And yeah, so here's our draft here. We do see Vlad kind of getting taken away from Salt because Ares is just a madman and plays everything up top. But kind of the wrinkle that we see here is Boonstra taking the Zillion mid against Anivia, which is quite interesting. So we're going to see how this develops. I know Calico is the Zillion queen. She has a bunch of mastery points on it. And overall, just really loves playing this champion. So yeah, absolutely love the comp that Scorch drafted here. They do have two unique enchanters, but double enchanters with Xin Zhao and Sivir, I think, is a pretty good combination, all in all. But the lack of front line and overall, like the quality of CC that I see for 5 Big Booms can shut Vlad down quite heavily. I mean, we could see Anivia Qs, Braum, stuns, knockups, Wukong knockups, Shen taunts. So we've got a lot of stuff that can get thrown at this Vladimir when he tries to dive into the backline here. So I think all in all, if Scorch gets ahead early, then this game might feel a little doomed here for the side of 5 Big Booms. But 5 Big Booms does have ways of kind of stalling out this game a little bit here. So I think it is a very interesting draft overall. Uh, Not a lot of wave clear coming out of Scorch's comp, so um, that might come back and bite him a little bit if they get into a siege scenario. I do think that overall, whichever team gets Baron really has a severe advantage on the push, just because Baron minions are so good into mages. Anivia has the wall and has ways of delaying the push a little bit, but Zillion, Vlad, Sivir. Sivir does have a lot of innate wave clear as well, but she still needs a few ricochet procs to clear out like backline that's empowered by Baron, stuff like that. So this will be overall just a really solid game here. I do like Wukong with Anivia. It does bring a little bit of a mixed damage, but both of them have like good single access to single target and AoE damage post level 6. So I do like myself a Wukong with Anivia. It's definitely one of the better partners with her. Why are you guys picking on the Nightbot? Alright, we changed it. It's doing decent. Why you gotta piss it off already? I just sat down. Oh, nice E here by Shorty, blocking a lot of this poke damage. Both junglers clearing top to bottom here, so I think you could have a really high chance of seeing the 3v3 coming out here, but I do think Scorch pushing this in heavily. They know it's coming, so they might look at it back here. Very disciplined here by the Scorch bot lane, knowing that once I got the push in, they had to back off and not try to overstay their welcome here. So Boonstra slowing down Salt here with Rusty coming in. Really nice wall from Rusty. Okay. It's not really common that Anivia takes wall up until level 5, but that wall had a lot of uses there, so well played by Salt here. We do see a little bit of a trade coming out top lane. Boonstra, oh, getting first blooded here by Salt. Even though Salt canceled an auto attack, still had enough time to get the E auto in for the electrocute proc. So one on the board for the bird. We see Sleepy using the ignite here. Preemptive flash coming out of Ares. Seeing that Sleepy was going to flash as well, so flash ignite down for Shen. Flash down by Ares on the Vladimir. So a little bit of action here, but about a 300 gold lead for the side of Scorch. So nice stun here by Boonstra. If Boonstra does get behind a touch, doesn't have the AP, he's going to struggle against the level 6 wave clear from Nivea. That's the thing with the Zilean mid. It's like if you keep him down to where he can't 2-bomb the back line, or bomb the front, bomb the back, it becomes very hard for Zilean to keep up with the wave clear here. I will say another thing that's going to be quite interesting is Shen's itemization. The fact that he has double AP solo laners is going to feel really good buying MR, or even if it's like a smaller MR item like Unending Despair. I think he's going to have a really hard time. Oh, nice wall overall by Boonstra. Salt, I'm digging the Anivia mechanics here. Can they get a 5 big booms? If they win, maybe. I'll give you that. They gotta earn it. An interesting 3v3. Bot lane got jumped on by Haku and Shorty, and then Shanti got jumped on here. Nice double up here by Shanti. Let's see what happens. Boonstra's taking a little bit of there. Haku kind of jumping in there, but uses the clone to get out. Overall, really nice here. Oh, and Boonstra's kind of has to use the revive here, so revive, flash, speed up. Okay, Boonstra gets out here, but well played by Salt. Really nice wall here. Shin doing pretty well with the early MR Spectre's Cow here, so he's dealing with Ares quite a bit. Ares back on the needlessly large rod here, so potentially like Deathcap first maybe. I'm not 100% sure what the optimal. Oh, nice taunt by Sleepy overall here. His ignite is up. Is it worth potentially igniting him there to lower the healing from the ult? Maybe? Maybe not, I don't know. So let's see here. I would expect Scorch to have a little bit of pressure through their mid or bot lane. Well, we see the junglers over here fighting for these grubs. Rusty does get both grubs and level 6, so he just backing out here. And it's 2 grubs to 1 on the side of Scorch, so Scorch drawing the first monster take for feats of strength here. Both teams haven't claimed any of the feats yet. Shorty ends up flashing in here, gets the double auto on. Nice overall combo here from the 5 Big Boom side. And Salt with the last auto attack and the Braum passive damage ends up taking down Mustafa. So really nice roam here by Salt. And actually, now that I see about it, he roamed on a ward there, I believe. So they knew he was coming. But Boomster ends up getting a plate mid. You see Sleepy ends up going on Ares again. Ares ends up going forward. And here's Haku with the all-in here. And that's Red Side getting the feats of warfare. It's 5 Boom Booms making some plays around this map here. Salt with a clutch roam bot. And then Haku with a gank up top side here. Salt Anivia better than CLT. You know what? There's a lot of good Anivia players right now. Salt's one. Hiroshima from Hidden Leaf played a really solid Anivia into me. You know, there is some bird players out there right now. She's just in a really good spot right now. Can't lie. Roaming Anivia, unheard of. I mean, one of the lowest base movement speeds in the game, so yeah, it's rare for her to leave lane, but 2-0 so far. And this is not the champion you want to get ahead when you're Scorch, just because she can now dictate the pace of the game with a lot of wave clear and just overall you have to be in a position where you have to take her down twice to even try to crack a wave or push a lane. She's going to collect everything here. There's an Ocean Drake going over to 5 Big Booms here. The Ocean Drake is fairly useful. I think Sleepy up top definitely will appreciate it, though he is doing quite well with that early MR stacking. But Ares using these 2 grub stacks to get another plate here topside. Really nice taunt over here for Sleepy. No, that's not what it stands for. So we still have pretty much an even game state, gold-wise. Have about an 11.5 minute Roa out of Salt. That's really good pacing for that. So 5 Big Booms really has this game state kind of where they want it, especially in the early game, considering their mid laner is kind of known to be a scaling mid laner. So we do see a touch of a CS lead coming out bot lane, which Mustafa's just always going to have this push. But we'll see what happens. We have Phase Rush getting procced by Ares here, so he's trying to keep his distance. Oh, mistimed there by Salt. Nice taunt here. As Ares is using the Phase Rush to get out. Nice flash by Shanti and a lane gank by Rusty here, but we do see Salt coming behind. This is a really bad spot for Salt to be in right now. Oh, actually we have the Shen ult coming down. Rusty has Boomstra's ult on. Now we have a 4v5 in the bot lane. Haku making some plays happen. Mustafa getting healed. Now he ends up falling. Salt moving forward here. Salt does have the wall. Rusty ends up dodging it, but I think overall he's going to end up falling. Calico ends up coming forward here. The bomb ends up landing on the Haku's clone. So a really massive fight actually for both teams. I believe it ended up being a 2 for 2. Oh, the Calico stops. Actually, yeah, they can protect the egg. And so yeah, that ends up being a 2 for 2 for the most part. Ares did end up getting the turret top, so that's feats of strength for the turret coming up. So now it comes down to the monsters. Nice spell shield by Mustafa. He didn't get baited in the shielding the E, because the E is a super low cooldown. If you're full health, you want to tank the E damage, and it's the Q you're super worried about. And I gotta give props to Sleepy here. Like, you know, he is not backing down from this matchup with Ares, and he's playing the Shen really well. Shen kind of being one of the kind of, I don't want to say unknown, but he's been buffed so many times. These I think it's like 4 patches in a row here. But he's battling back here. And a little bit of a skirmish here in the upper river area. Overall, I think 5 Big Booms is pretty happy with it. I think both teams are actually kind of happy with this game state. For the most part, I do see a few more objectives going to the way of 5 Big Booms, so if Scorch can set up and tie up this dragon stack, I feel this is going to be really good for them. Boomstra ends up flashing out, lands the bombs on everybody else. Rusty ends up falling off of this posture for the dragon here. So jungler down on the side of Scorch. Sleepy Shen is up top here with the Shen ult. Haku and Shorty could get bursted down by Ares. He is on full death cap. Rabadon's rush, very interesting. I'm seeing this a lot with Vladimir players, but I'm not sure what is the most optimal. It's not a champion I play that often. You see Ares trying to go in on Salt here, but this is exactly why Vlad players hate Anivia. It's because he just has to walk through so much shit to get to her. So, see, Ares has a chance of making a little bit of a Vlad move here. Oh, nice stun by Boomstra here. Ares does have to end up flashing away. But all of this posturing has left Sleepy a chance to get this top turret. So we did. I guess in the midst of all that, I did miss that with that dragon take feats of strength go over to 5 big booms. Uh, I think that's really massive for them, and not only the upgraded boots, but just the fact that the tier 4 boots actually cost less. So they lowered the stats, but they're still pretty effective at what they do. I really do like the Swifty boots just to try and create a little more space away from Vlad here. CS wise, everybody's pretty much, for the most part, they're on an even playing field. There is a little bit of a gap on the side of the 80 carries. Sleepy just in here brawling. So Ares getting a little bit of health back from the ult here. I like Sleepy building this Bramble Vest here, but I think Ares is smart enough just not to auto him, and he won't get the grievous wounds on him. Oh, oh! Well played by Salt. Throw the Q and the E's of quicker missile speed, so that ended up breaking the spell shield, and Mustafa had it down for the stun to arrive. So forcing Mustafa the flash is pretty big. He is on 2 items here. You see Boonstra also on 2 items when Seraph's in the Horizon Focus. It's quite interesting. I think Horizon Focus is the better of the CDR items, but Cosmic Drive does have its uses when it comes to the movement speed. Salt starting up this Otacon here. Let's see if Scorch kind of notices this and kind of sniffs this one out. So I think the biggest thing is Sleepy has Shen ult. Kind of a late ult there by Shan T, but still forces Calico to burn all the sums. Salt is still fighting. Rusty gets into the back line, damages Haku quite a bit. Haku gets the Shen ult. Shen is actually not that healthy either. And this is going to be a Scorch moving in and getting this Otacon here from 5 big booms. So really nice turnaround here by Scorch. And I think this is the momentum they need to kind of start turning this game around. Not that they were severely behind, but they go from Otacon, they get Killer 2, and now they go into Dragon here. So they're starting the Dragon, and they're going to get this first Dragon on the board for them. And honestly, while most of the chat is not feeling this Death Cap build. If they start stacking Infernal Drakes, this Death Cap rush, I think, it only gets amplified more and more here. So kind of Dragon bailing this build out a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. We can talk to Salt or Ares or somebody in the post-series interview. Their thoughts on this Rabadon's rush. Sleepy, he's asleep at the shopkeeper window. Oh, nice ult by Rusty Croak here. Haku coming in here, but Ares ends up flashing over. And we're going to start to see this comp come online for Scorch. I mean, I do love the combo of Zillion with Xin Zhao or Vladimir. Like you're going to make them very fast. You're gonna bring with them a pretty decent bomb. So and that's why Vladimir players hate Anivia there. She could just literally outspace you while you do whatever. If you burn, pull, you're at risk of getting ganked, especially deep in a lane. Nice flash. Oh, nice double bomb by Haku. We do see Sleepy ulting over here, but this is going to end up being a 2v4. And Haku's going to end up falling. Shanti, potentially, there was a potential for an alt angle there, but I don't think you get any takedowns from there. Rusty getting the speed up here. I mean, they have Zillion ult. This is diveable. And Soul kind of walking up here. You know, well, I love the aggressiveness of trying to get up and try to defend this inhibitor. Understandably, like you got to understand how valuable you are to the counter push. If you fall there as a Nivea, that's a potential end angle actually. Say Capuchin trying to learn some new champs. That's good for KCA here. I know we had the pleasure of scrimming them, and you know, they were super good, super chill dudes. So. Right now, while we have a second, it is a 6,700,000 gold lead for the side of Scorch here. All mainly on the backs of Mustafa once he got out of the lane, and Vladimir scaling up quickly. I do have 5 big booms. They're on 2 dragons compared to Scorch's 1. There is a dragon coming up here in about 30 seconds. Got a bunch of Mustafa fans in the chat here. So we'll see what happens here. It does feel bad that like Shen has to split push here, but they're going after Shen. Let's see what happens here. Does force him to flash. Oh, massive bomb coming out of Boonstra, but an equally massive all coming out of Shanti. Mustafa's on the side here, kind of getting ignored. There's a triple kill coming out of Mustafa here, and what was a really massive team fight here by Scorch, and a quadra kill coming out of this Sivir, and that is potentially an end. That it will be an end angle here on the side of Scorch. So massive turnaround continues to happen for the Scorch squad. They they were not happy with their showing this week 1, but week 2 they had a really competitive series, and now this week 3, they're continuing to improve here. So let me go ahead. They did already invite me to the room, but we will go over to the client here soon. Where you at? Yeah, use Aries. Sorry to show your match history here, buddy. It's a bow to a victory, so it's all good. So we seen how this was a pretty even game up until what was this moment? Yeah, up until this area where it boomed from 765 to 2200, and then just kept going after that. So this might have been the Otacon fight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe that's where Zenzel takes the Otacon. So really solid game overall for both sides. But yeah, uh, the Scorch team again continues to improve. So we'll see how this ends up going here. But I will say this is probably the one point in the series, or the most like fearless drafted effect series. I mean, Salt had the Vladimir taken away. You had Boonstra playing the Zillion instead of Calico. Uh, Sivir got taken away from Mustafa playing it last. MF got also kind of removed here. So a lot of power picks, but a lot of like overall champion interactions that we see from these teams here. So let's go over to draft number 2. I really do like this website. So just waiting for these teams to start draft. But I'm gonna take a second, get myself something to drink. I kind of rushed in here. So. And here we go with the second draft. They're getting through these bands really quickly here. So we see Amumu taken off the board, Kindred taken off of the board, which is kind of a I don't say like a Haku special, but he's definitely known for his Kindred. But there are a few other Kindred players in the league as well. And then we see Poppy taken out, so definitely quite a bit of flex picks getting taken off the board by 5 big booms. And we see the Seraphine come through now. Boonstra being a bot laner primarily the last couple splits. He's played quite a bit of mages, so this is actually a flex pick. I'm gonna put my money on Boonstra taking it, but you never know with Scorch. They are definitely one of the more creative champion teams in draft here. And we do see Shanti getting her patented Caitlyn. I've seen many of series get the tables turned when they let her on this Caitlyn. She definitely plays it very, very well. But it's Sejuani getting taken away here, which I know Rusty has played Sejuani quite a bit. Very, very talented at the champion. So a little bit of a denial pick coming over. And now we see Scorch hovering the Aphelios here, which would be interesting. I think for the most part, our community is kind of like divisive on Aphelios. Some people don't like him, some people love him. So we'll see how this one goes. And we see a Trundle coming out. Okay. Trundle typically has been a legacy answer for Sejuani. You alter when her passive's up and you steal all the resistances from the passive. And Aftershock. But I've seen some Sejuani techs where she goes a lot more offensive. Oh, and we see a Blitzcrank coming out here. Okay. We're going to have to see how this one goes. Blitzcrank being kind of a really big wild card answer. For, stuff like Philios and Seraphine. And actually, I think Blitzcrank is respectable into Trundle as well, because once you pull him in, he really has no escapes. No, we see the second round of bans here. See Mordekaiser, Aatrox, Kale taken off the board. How do you choose side selection? So in the document that Rusty posted in the announcement tabs, there is a team document where it shows all the teams, the captains, and the multi-op.ggs. There should be a tab at the very bottom, Dippy, that shows you who is the home team for that week. And the home team will get side selection for game 1 only. Hopefully that helps. And we see a Mel coming through. Mel, not really a champion that that gets played, but I do like her in very, very certain spots. No problem, Dippy. I'm glad I could help. So I do like Mel in this spot for the most part. I kind of do like the Malphite response though, but I mean you still have Swain on the board here. I don't know Sleepy's champion pool. If you could flex Sejuani to top, she could build AP and be kind of a pain in the ass for Malphite to deal with. There's a couple of different approaches here, and also like Ares on Malphite is he typically, I don't say he doesn't want to play tanks, but he really likes to put himself in a really good advantage. And we see the Scion coming out. Scion being a really, not only just a big, massive tank, but Malphite is not really known for being great in lane versus tanks. Like, I would almost say that that's pretty Scion favored. I don't know if Dippy wants to chime in on this matchup, though I don't think Dippy really enjoys playing any of these two tanks here. I do think on the other side of the aspect, Scion is an interesting take when you have Trundle showing. Not only for the Trundle ult, because I mean everybody knows Trundle steals tank stats, but the Trundle peeler plays a big role. Because if you're trying to really engage with a Scion ult, pillar can stop it immediately. So I love Scion in the sense of like he's going to be a big beefy tank, but there's a lot of ways of playing around him for the Scorch's comp. I will say that I 100% called the Seraphine going mid here. And Aphelios having double enchanters against a comp that really doesn't have too much of an engage into him. You know, the Mustafa fans might be popping off in the chat here this game as well. So, end up seeing what happens here. Who broke up from who from the Jellyfish team? So, I have zero context behind what happened to Sad Jellyfish, and even if I did, it's not my place to say any of it. Um, but Team Happy Jellyfish has two members in Mark Cutie and Dippy, and uh, Team Five Big Booms, which we are seeing here on Red Side, has the other three members in Shanti Haku, excuse me, and Salt by Default. So that's kind of the gist of that one. If you've been following our server here for a bit. Just gonna stay muted here for a sec. Get caught up on some food. Give me something to drink here, and we'll join everybody back once we get past the spectator delay. But let me know in the chat what team comp you like, who you favorite coming out of draft. And here we are with game 2 of 5 Big Booms versus Scorch. Scorch did take game 1 in this best of 3 Fearless series. So we do see a 5-man invade coming out potentially for 5 Big Booms.
Minions have spawned.
And for the most part, the invade was unsuccessful. They did get some wards in the area, so for the most part, nothing major coming out of this. Actually, Sejuani already grabbed one of those wards with the sweep. Oh no, got the ward from the invade here. Level 2 from both bot laners. Went for a hook there, and it was unsuccessful. I think the starting item for Scion is quite interesting. The fact that he didn't feel like he needed to go D-Shield and went to Ruby Crystal. So maybe trying to rush the Sunfire. See Mel doing a pretty good job. Mel's level 2, 3 are like really deceiving here. I do like to sometimes cheat the W on level 2 because it has this little bit of surprise factor for the most part. But I think Champion's underrated. I like Mel. Level 3 coming out of both bot lanes here. Nothing too special. Hook goes wide to the right there. And I will say, like, knowing Calico's champion pool of being, like, very, very content with playing Enchanter, she rarely finds herself in a moment where she gets hooked. Got a really nice combo coming out of Mustafa here. Sleepy getting ganked up in the top lane. See if he tries to burn the flash. Burns the flash, push the shield. Rusty ends up successfully getting off that gank and burning Ghost to get away. Here's a really nice job on them. Salt deflecting Boonstra's Q here. Both tanks are trading some Grasp of the Undying stacks up top. Now Rusty's been sitting in his brush for a while now. Let's see if he's trying to catch Haku on the pass here. We see a three-man dive on the bot side here. Nice polymorph here, but Mustafa ends up getting grabbed here. And he's going to end up falling here to Shanti. Overall, really nice gank here. Shanti getting the trap down, but didn't arm quick enough. And making Mustafa burn the flash there. And they're responding with a flash knock up into a Q. Really well played by Shorty. Ooh. Big fight here in the jungle as they went 1-for-1. You had Scion engaging the fight and Salt roaming up as well here. I'll be honest, without the Malphite engage in some of these team fights later on, Mel is pretty safe to just free fire and be able to reflect a lot of things. So I think it's going to be a very exciting team fight to just see who can find these moments to create here. see Shorty kind of getting jumped on. Rusty does pop the Ghost and the ult here. Salt does kind of jump onto Boonstra here, but Rusty ends up running them down, getting the Feats of Warfare. Ult from Boonstra goes wide, but with that happening to Shorty here, they do have tempo for this dragon. We do have a potential gank opportunity coming from top side. Haku. All right, so they turned off of it. These tanks are just trading a boatload of grass stacks here. Rusty putting quite a bit of attention down here on this bot side of the map, just wanting to make sure that their bot lane is super protected from a lot of these ganks here, potentially coming out of Haku, which I mean is fair. I think you wanna invest in your late game hyper carry, especially with 2 enchanters on his side as well. So definitely playing to their win condition. Shanti completing the collector is really good overall, especially for these headshot procs that are going to be coming up. Big old tank fight up here. Boonstra! Oh, the panic flash in place here by Boonstra. And that's a gank by Shorty onto the mid lane here. Shanti does what she can to get out of this. Though there is a potential that this is not first turret. But we do have Mel TPing to the bot lane, so we can see the Scorch team get collapsed on. We see a hook coming out. Mustafa ends up cleansing it, but falls. And Shorty ends up getting out here. Sleepy TP'd to the bot lane as well, and then ulted on the other side of the river here, but turns out his services were not needed. So a really nice response from this 5 Big Boom squad. Overall, Calico gets rooted here. And this Mel is now 3-1. I'm not 100% sold on the Seraphs, just because I think, you know what, I'm okay with the Seraphs. Now that I think about it more, like the Malphite ult is a pain in the ass to deal with, but it does keep you pretty safe. I just don't like the optimal damage out of it. Okay, so Sleepy flashes. Ares ends up ulting away as well. Sleepy ends up falling to Rusty Crow here, so. And just because I think Mel has ways of getting like meaningful damage to Rusty and the rest of the back line here, I think going something like Shadow Flame is comparable here, like Shadow Flame Leandries. Because remember, Shadow Flame works well with Mel's ult. You want to ult when they're close to the threshold. But also Mel's DOT passive gets amplified by Shadow Flame, so I do still like this option on Mel. See a Heartsteel coming out from Haku, which I think is pretty useful here. Hollow Radiance getting finished by Sleepy here. I think this is probably the only MR item he's gonna go, even though it doesn't supply the most amount of MR. I would have thought Unending Despair was decent. At some point, I'm going to look at the grass stacks on these two tanks because it's insane how much they've just been autoing each other. Hook goes wide for the Blitzcrank. Plating's going to fall. Sleepy kind of proxying. The Assault is there to help. So, we see some action. Looks like it's probably going to happen on bot side. Do you see a hook coming out by Shorty, but Haku's not there yet. Now he's there. Rusty ends up ulting Blitzcrank, but we see a boatload of chakrams coming out from Mustafa here. See if we can take this out. Ult coming out by Shanti gets a double kill after Mustafa gets a kill himself here. So now this Caitlyn is 4-0. This is going to be a dangerous Caitlyn. Like, this could be Arcane Caitlyn that we're sitting here watching. I also didn't catch that red team got 3 grips here, so alright. Sleepy ends up ulting. Casper is going to end up spawning topside here. We see a trade Dragon for Rift Herald here. I believe, yeah, this is going to be the second monster objective coming out from Scorch, as well as the second. I'm sorry. This is the second. So they're 2 for 2 on there. Mustafa ends up having the flash. Shorty with a really nice hook there. Do you see Ares walking bot lane? Looks like they're trying to attack Shanti and her shutdown here. I do think this is risky though, because there's the Scion push up top. I know Rusty's here, and he's gonna end up pushing back the Scion, maybe. Yeah, I think he has to stay up here, or this turret falls quite quickly. Salt does have TP. Ares' TP is going to be coming up here soon. Ares looking to kind of brush gank. They're going to try and brute force his turret here. I believe first turret is going to be grubs for both of them. Ares ends up ulting. Caitlyn ults just to try and join this fight a little early here. Salt does not pull the trigger on the TP. So nice roam and overall lane gank here. And this might be Sleepy falling here. Scion's not up yet. Oh, and he ends up TPing away here. Alright. That works. And now, potentially, Rusty's and Ares getting this first turret. And that is feats of strength going over the Scorch here. I honestly think as a Scion, you maybe die for that turret. But Shanti ends up becoming unstoppable now as they end up attacking Booster on this bot lane. Oh, and Mel gaming happening here. As she ends up rooting everybody. And ults, and that's a double kill for Mel. So now this Mel is 5-0. So the two main backline carries for 5 big booms are massive. That's 2 items now for Shanti. That's 2 items now for Salt. So this this is going to be a battle of frontline versus backlines here. I do still think Scorch is about even when it comes to game state, especially with the champions here. He barely broke the shield, but now he's chopping away at him. And 5 big booms now making a push for this mid turret here. As Shorty ends up missing that hook. Which is okay. Does no damage if it misses. So next big fight coming up is going to be potentially Dragon. This is Infernal Soul yet again for these teams. Back-to-back Infernal Souls. But Otacon spawning in half a minute here. 5 big booms pinging the dragon spawn, so I think they're going to want to set up for that, potentially. We see the Blackfire Torch getting completed by Boonstra, so he's definitely going to have quite a bit of wave clear. We see Haku's ult goes wide on the Mustafa here. But I think with them pushing him back, you gave up tempo for Dragon here. I actually potentially think you go for Otacon here. Only because you do have a little bit of wave clear if they do get, say, like, tier 1. But with them putting the Rift Herald now top, Salt end up showing up here. Boonstra gets off an amazing ult. Big TP coming out of Ares here. Caitlyn ends up getting a headshot, though, onto Rusty. Salt tried to reflect the Aphelios ult. And between Salt and Shanti ends up getting rid of the front line here. So now it's a battle between Salt and the bot lane. Mustafa ends up finishing off that Drake. So they ended up getting a big shutdown off of Shanti going over to Boonstra here. The second Drake. They're still about 2k down in this game, but Salt ends up getting just more and more massive on this Melk here. So, looking at this game overall, we see 2 items done on the Scion compared to 1. We see 2 items on Rusty's side completed over Haku. Mid laners are respectively close. Big ult coming out here. Shanti ends up getting Boonstra ulted as well. Double kill coming out of Mustafa here. Rusty ends up running over Sleepy here. Scion ult comes out. Salt ends up trying to run away from Rusty here. But Rusty ends up falling to Salt, as I think he just wanted to try and get them out of the fight. They are relatively low. This is 3v2. Ares gets snared up by the deflect. And what was a very, like, all of a sudden fight here ended up being a 2-for-1. Yeah, 2-for-1 off of that. They did catch Ares out here potentially, but Mustafa ends up getting a blast coned in, and Salt is now legendary. I don't. If he had red Q up, that might have been what hit the blast cone. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. But this is a big turnaround now for 5 big booms. Now they go on to Otacon here. They're going to end up taking Otacon. And now Salt on 9-0 on this Mel. Big ult coming out of Scion here, followed up by a Mel Root. And Rusty, you do not get to play this game right now, buddy. Baron up in 15. I actually do think they can turn on Baron here. You know, Scion kind of trying to push this mid lane here. But Ares ends up ulting here. Mustafa is not part of this fight, by the way. Salt ends up reflecting the Boonstra ult. And Boonstra will end up potentially following. No. But Shanti ends up flashing forward. Mustafa gets knocked up. Oh, and Mustafa ends up getting taken out by Salt here. Salt just absolutely having an insane game on this Mel. 10-0-5 here. Shanti having a very fine game herself. 10-2-4. But now you have Infernal Drake coming up here soon. Let's see if Scorch has enough chance to get some tempo on this. Shanti going after the red buff. Dragon's up in less than 20 seconds here. And Shanti also, I guess, thinks attack speed is overrated on this Caitlyn build here. Just want pure damage. But Scorch using this opportunity to trade, or at least threaten to trade Baron here. Which now that they know that they're coming, they might back off. Baron does pull everybody else in. Salt ends up getting jumped on, deflects everything over, ends up getting ulted by Boonstra here. You got the front line fighting the back line here. They traded over. Shanti's still left over here. Boonstra is going to end up getting ulted. And a triple kill out of Shanti. So they ended up big eyeing all over Salt. Like, seemed to shut down there and just went all in. But left Shanti left to free fire. So what a turn of events here. We see by 5 big booms now up 5k. Leveled up the playing field on the Dragons 2-2. So really, really big game from these backline carries, but not to be ignored as these frontline carries. We've seen Haku and Sleepy go in on the backline and ultimately zone out Mustafa. So now I think our next fight's going to be over this Baron here. We'll see. Rusty's at 3 items. Kind of an interesting build. Looks like Blade of the Rune King 4th, potentially. Mel completing the Shadow Flame, which is a massive pickup for her. That is a much needed spike in damage. Going after Deathcap 4th. Shanti on 4 items. Here, Ares and Rusty's kind of looking for a brush camp. Ares ends up getting rooted and everything, and Ares ends up ulting the front line here. See, Boonstra gets off a massive ult! Holy shit, with Mustafa. What an insane wombo combo between Boonstra and Mustafa here. Oh my. That was an absolute insane combo. And they could turn on to the Baron now. So they don't take this Baron that well. Actually, Mustafa did fall in that fight there at the end. So this is straight Boonstra and Rusty Crow. 3-manning this Baron here. And it looks like they're going to take it. And actually, that's Baron on all 5 members now. So really actually helped out that they took it really slow. With Baron on the table, Mel's not a big fan of pushing against Baron here. Oh, Mustafa didn't think to check the brush here. But Sleepy coming over. Mustafa ends up taking this. Oh, but a big take here by Mustafa. Oh, he ends up getting hooked in by Shorty here. So big turn of events now. We talked about this Blitzcrank being kind of a little bit of a wild card, regardless of how comfortable we feel playing against it. Sleepy does have TP actually for this siege here, so we'll see how this ends up working out. He does have to answer Ares. Oh, but Boonstra ends up launching the ult. Oh my goodness, what a Mel moment. Deflecting the Seraphine ult and then comboing off of it. Sleepy doing his best to stall Ares from getting to the fight. And now I think they're going up after Ares, which Ares just now started building MR. So Mel still gets through here. Scion ult comes out. They end up sticking him up. See, Shanti ends up getting ulted here. Mustafa's back in this fight, but he ends up falling to the back or to the front line as well. Boy, this is a game here. Do you see Dragon coming up? I think they can beeline towards Dragon potentially. Nope, they're electing the back here. Well, Haku did not back. Haku, I believe, has Jack Show on this back. Salt's probably really close to death cap. Yeah, just about 300 away. We do see third item coming out by Boonstra. Rika's going to be tilted at the double mana items coming out of here, but I don't necessarily disagree with it in this aspect. So, Salt picks up this bot wave here. Is going to have death cap. Potentially going to see 5 or 6 full items coming out of Shanti here. Rusty's got 4 items as well, so Rusty's actually going to be pretty big in these fights against the 2 tanks. Ares now completing the Hollow. I'm not a fan of this Hollow Radiance, to be honest. I think you need an influx of MR, And the multiple Mel spells and procs count as magic damage. I think you want Font of Life here. Is it Font of Life? No, that's a rune. I forget the MR item that's really good into DOT. We do see Sleepy kind of getting caught out here. See where he goes with this. Oh, but we did see Rusty with the pillar here. And Sleepy's going to end up falling. I will say that the team of 5 big booms here is going to end up... Oh, wait. Mustafa, you going to lose to this Kion? We do see 5 big booms, though, looking at potentially double inhib here between mid and top. Some nice response out of them. Rusty ends up getting snared by Salt. Salt is slowed. Nice flash overall here. Oh, and a nice reflect here coming out. Oh my goodness, what a mel. Holy cow. Again and again, we see Salt deflecting the Seraphine ult back into the team, and they're just straight popping her ult. And that's a 3-for-1 for the side of 5 big booms, and potentially another inhib. All the headshots by Shanti are smacking turrets here. Now we see super minions gonna start coming here in the mid and top lane. We see them potentially camping the jungle here. I think they just straight push bot. They're losing a little bit of time here overall. Needs to just start taking this red buff, but they're being very, very patient here. Let's see who ends up coming in. Sleepy ends up taking the wolves here. The problem with... Oh, nice pillar by Rusty here. Sleepy ends up ulting into the pillar. But here comes Haku and the rest of the team. Shanti's ult absolutely takes Mustafa out of his fight. Shanti laying down some traps here. No Mel reflect for the booster's ult, and that ends up being like the game changing here. Shanti's trying to do what she can, and that's a triple kill by Rusty here. And that could be the end here. Yeah, they're down for 30 seconds. Wow, what an absolute like slugfest between these two teams. Oh, sign me up for a best of 5 of this one, please. Wowzers. 15-4 and 10 Mel and a 17-4 and 7 end up falling here in what is just an absolute slugfest between Scorch and 5 big booms. Scorch will end up taking the series 2-0. But, oh man, that was a very, very entertaining game overall. Oh man, this gold graph's actually got to be insane here. Graphs, I mean, damage, Mustafa and Shanti, both 80s having absolute stellar games, so we can't discredit this Mel too. I don't have the timeline here, so that's interesting. Let me see.
Hello, SEAL team.
Yo, what up, Rusty?
Not too much, man. Just as usual, stressing myself out by throwing the early game.
Man, what a series. Holy cow. What a...
Yeah,
Man, go ahead. What's your thoughts on that one?
Sorry, I just want to put my headset. Repeat that.
So what just like take us through that series, like especially like I really dig the drafting from game one. You know, I've always been a fan of Scorch's drafts, how they can get like super creative. You guys have a bunch of flex picks. I'm seeing Boonstra on the Zillion, so now I think it just became more of a valuable ban. It looked really good, but yeah, what's I mean, you guys keep looking better and better. Give us a little something here.
I mean, first and foremost, we're just finally gelling as a team. We hadn't gotten a ton of practice in before our week one game, and it showed when we looked really bad. But as you've seen the last 2 weeks, we've been a lot cleaner just in our communication, our play, our drafting, which has been nice that it's really starting to click. And then, yeah, I mean, Boone on Zillion, he called for it too. He was really championing to play it. And so for that game, we were just looking to try to just draft some strong lanes and a strong jungler. And the idea was just Zillion is going to hard buff me and Vlad, and we're just going to run people over.
Mhm. Yeah, Ares had a an insane game though. I'm not gonna lie. Sleepy on that Shen. He gave him everything he could that game one. Um,
No, yeah, he played very well in the Shen. We thought, honestly, that the Shen might be going jungle at first because Haku does play River Shen a little bit. And so I was a little nervous in draft just because we weren't exactly sure where it was going. But then once the Wukong came in, it was pretty clear that the Shen was going to be top. And so it made the rest of the draft a little bit easier for us. I think honestly they should have picked their mid laner at the R4 and then held that counter pick to 5 to really kind of. Cause I probably don't go Shin Sao if they pick Anivia there, and then it gets a little bit worse for them. But otherwise, I think they had a pretty solid draft.
yeah, I really like how I think this is probably the first time this split going through a majority of these games that you guys actually use Xin Zhao to like his fullest potential with double enchanters. And it was two unique enchanters too. Like Karma, while not the most unique, still kind of uncommon in the support, but the Zillion as well. I think were really really nice touches to the draft overall. But let's jump into this one that we all want to talk about is this game too. Man, what how many IOUs did you have to cash in for Ares to play Malphite? Let's start there.
Uh, that is a great question. Yeah, he does not love Malphite duty, but he actually is the one. He was like kind of hovering between Ornn and Malphite, but he ended up thinking that Malphite was the better choice, just because with the Mel, we were worried that Ornn's ult would be reflected at us, and so we figured she can't send Malphite right back at us, and so he made the call on the Malphite. So I'm sure that I'll have to give him a little money after this for playing the Malphite because he doesn't really love to do it, but he was a good sport and suggested it because he knew it was just necessary for us. Um, yeah, but no, that draft was I like the draft, but I was like just kind of stressed out because we just couldn't get the fights to go the way we wanted to because their mid laner I think saw by default right. He
Yeah.
he was holding that reflect for Seraphine's ult every single time, which was the smart thing to do, but it's made our fights really awkward because if we do everything we want to and the ult comes out, I mean, fights are just one sided. I think if it's any champion other than Mel, this game is not close. So, full credit to them for a good draft there and for him doing the correct thing. We just got fortunate that we were able to find the Scion there on our wolves at the end and just get them disjointed enough to win the fight.
Yeah, yeah. I think Salt was absolutely insane on that Mel. I mean, and Shanti it showcased why you should not give her Caitlyn because holy cow, that was a boatload of damage she just kept doing that game. Over 1,000 damage a minute that game, by the way, on the Caitlyn. So that was massive. But yeah, the the Mel W as being kind of a Mel player myself, I think Orin actually is kind of in my 2 cents like okay there, just because if she deflects Orin ult, then she doesn't have it up for Seraphine, which I think is the more impactful ult because that was the turning on a lot of those fights. Uh, was she with Seraphine ult or reflect a Seraphine ult and get like at least 3 to 4 of you guys. So that was
Yeah.
massive, but you guys, I think,
No.
in the 3 splits I've casted have a 100% win rate against hook champs, by the way. Since
Hook champs are a bait. And I mean no disrespect people who play the champion, but if you're playing a hook champ, you're relying on me to be bad. You're not good. Because I have to be positioned poorly, or someone has to be positioned poorly for a hook champ to be worthwhile. And unless I make a mistake or someone on my team makes a mistake, you're not going to grab us. So it just requires like it's just you're just relying on someone else to mess up, and that's not the correct way to play the game. It's not a good way to play the game because it takes the agency away from you and puts it, you playing reactive rather than proactive. That's why someone like Rakan, if you want an engage, or a Rel is really good because they can create their own engages. Alistar too, but the hookers kind of just have to sit there and hope that minions aren't blocking or the tank's not blocking,
Mhm.
or that you've perfectly gapped us with warding or something, which I think at this level is just not really going to happen. So yeah, we like playing against hookers. Just makes it, they're pretty one dimensional. So we know what we're in for, and we know how to play against them.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. There is a little bit of a wild card factor into there, but I think you guys lessen that factor like very, very well. So,
We just want it more. Is at the end of the day, that's what it is.
you
We just
just
want it
want
more.
more, just want
That's
more.
why we keep getting these crazy, down 6K gold comebacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and see, you guys got Sad Boys left, and who's your weak
Technically,
foot?
Froggy style. Sad Boys dropped out.
That's correct.
Um,
That's correct. So you
but
get
yeah, no. Next week is the game of the season. Actually, Froggy style versus us. It's me and my little brother both jungling, so everyone should tune in. It's probably gonna be next Sunday.
next Sunday. Okay, I'll see what I can do to make that that cast happen here. It'll be a pleasure seeing you and Banana going at it.
We uh we talked quite a bit of smack at our brother's wedding this weekend, so
Oh,
it
okay.
should be fun.
So wedding gift is I'm gonna kick your ass on the rift.
Exactly, exactly.
I dig it. I
Um,
dig it. But yeah, man, I really really happy to see you guys bounce back after that week one. I know that was a rough one. I mean, we talked a little on the side of how you just you were not happy after that week one at all.
no, I was not.
So
I hate losing. I'm a sore loser. So
I think we
but yeah,
all
it's
are.
but thank you for casting.
Oh, sorry for the slight delay. Getting in there. It's actually a shocker that these series are starting on time. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
I run
no,
a tight ship, you know.
yeah, yeah, fair. So, but
All right,
yeah,
TLT. Thank you, sir.
congrats on the win, man. I will let you go.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. And that is Scorch's jungler and newly acquired mod. Rusty, talking about their victory over Five Big Booms as they 2-0 them, and what was a very, very competitive 2-0. So this series is definitely one to go back and watch, and definitely go in a little more in depth in this on the Midwest Weekly. But you know, other than that, I hope everybody enjoyed it. There is a boatload of League of Legends still being played in our server, so if you have any of these guys on your friends list, feel free to spectate and tune in. I think Nexus is still streaming a series on his channel, which is, let me pull it up real quick. It is BTG versus FS. Let me see who. I should know those two teams, but we still have quite a bit of teams here. So that is Pop It Twisted Gank It versus Froggy Style, I believe. So another Group C matchup. But yeah, we will see you guys next time. Deuces.